You've been carrying so much, some of it visible, like work, goals, people depending on you, and some of it invisible, expectations, memories, the quiet ache of always needing to hold it all together. Last time we talked about pressure, how it builds, how it shapes us. But today, we talk about release. The healing that begins when you finally stop proving and start allowing. Because growth isn't about holding more, it's about learning what you can set down. This is where pace becomes something a bit deeper. Not just reflection, but restoration. So if you can, unclench your jaw, drop your shoulders. Let this episode be a place to rest, even for a few minutes. You don't have to carry it all. Not right now. Let's begin. Hi, I'm Jacqueline, and welcome back to Pace. Some of you listening right now are tired, not because you're lazy, not because you're unmotivated, but because you've been carrying too much for too long. You've been strong. You've been reliable. And you've been the one people count on. And maybe no one ever asked if you wanted to be that person. It just became expected. Today, I wanted to talk about the weight we normalize and the quiet permission many of us need to finally put some of it down. Somewhere along the way, many of us learned, if I don't handle this, it won't get done. If I don't stay strong, everything falls apart. If I rest, I'm being irresponsible. So we carry the emotional weight, the mental load, and the invisible responsibilities. And we don't call it pressure. We call it just life. But there's a difference between responsibility and overload. And often, we don't realize we've crossed that line until our bodies, emotions, or relationships start asking for relief. I wanted to share something personal with you. There was a season in my life where I was holding everything together. Work, motherhood, emotional healing, starting over, showing up. On the outside, it looked like strength. But on the inside, oh my gosh, I was exhausted. I wasn't just handling my responsibilities. I was carrying expectations that weren't spoken, emotions that weren't mine, and pressure I never agreed to. And because I could handle it, I just did. But here's what no one tells you, and no one told me. Just because you can carry something doesn't mean you were meant to carry it forever. I didn't break, but I was bending. And bending too long eventually leads to burnout. There's something ancient about carrying. We've been doing it since the beginning, carrying water, carrying children, carrying burdens too heavy for the soul. But every generation has found its breaking point and its release. In the book of Numbers, Moses stands before a restless people. They look to him for everything: direction, safety, answers. And in a moment of exhaustion, he cries out to God, "I cannot carry all these people by myself. The burden is too heavy for me." Numbers 11:14. What happens next is sacred. God doesn't tell him to toughen up. He sends 70 others to share the spirit of leadership. It's the first recorded act of delegation as divine wisdom, proof that even the chosen are not meant to carry it all. When Moses released the myth of self-sufficiency, the burden actually became bearable. Let's talk about Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman once said, "If I could have convinced more slaves they were slaves, I could have freed thousands more." She carried a nation's trauma on her back, walking miles in silence through forests and rivers, guiding others to freedom. But what's rarely told is that she paused often to pray, to rest, to listen for divine direction. She was powerful, not because she carried everything, but because she carried purpose and nothing more. Her rest was resistance. Her boundaries, sacred. What about the story of Simone Weil? Simone Weil, the French mystic and philosopher, worked in factories during wartime to understand suffering firsthand. She once wrote, "Attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity." But her empathy became so consuming that she began to refuse rest, even food, believing her suffering might redeem others. Eventually, as I'm sure you've guessed, it consumed her. Her life is a gentle caution, even compassion, when carried without boundary, becomes self-erasure. You can love deeply without losing yourself. You really can. Maybe you too have been carrying more than your fair share. For your family, your work, your community, maybe you've mistaken endurance for what you're calling worth. Remember this instead. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. That is Matthew 11:28. Rest is not laziness, it is trust that the world keeps turning, even when you set something down. Ask yourself gently, what am I holding that isn't mine anymore? What can I release so I can return to myself? In one of the last episodes, we talked about pressure, internal and external. External pressure is visible. It's those deadlines, the caregiving, work demands, life responsibilities. But internal pressure, that's the heavy one. Internal pressure sounds like, if I don't do this, I'll disappoint someone. I should be able to handle more, and rest can wait. Those are lies. No one applauds you for the weight you carry silently. And that's often the most damaging kind. You don't get credit for emotional endurance. You just get tired. Let's talk about faith and rest and releasing control. There's a version of strength that includes rest. Even faith teaches us that rest isn't weakness, it's trust. Trust that everything doesn't depend on you or me. You don't have to be everything to everyone. And our value, it isn't tied to how much we can endure. Sometimes rest isn't quitting. It's the boundary. It's the chosen sustainability. And choosing sustainability is wisdom. To make it plain, letting go is hard, especially for adults, because people are used to us being available and systems rely on our overfunctioning. Our identity may be tied to being the strong one, but carrying everything teaches others you'll always do it. And it teaches you that your needs come last. These boundaries don't make you difficult, they make you honest, and honesty is the beginning of freedom. This is why, with pace, you choose the responsible step, but also the honest step. Putting the weight down doesn't mean that you're abandoning your life or responsibilities. It's saying no without over-explaining and asking for help without quote-unquote guilt. It's resting before you're completely drained. That's very important. And it's choosing peace over proving a point. You don't have to drop everything. Just drop what's crushing you. If you've been strong for a long time, I'd like to give you permission to release. If you're carrying more than you share, if you feel tired but don't know how to stop, here it is. You are allowed to rest, and you are allowed to release. You are also allowed to move forward much, much lighter. There is a pace that preserves you. You don't have to carry it all to be worthy, because you already are. Here's a reflection question I'd like to leave with you for this episode. What am I carrying right now that I was never meant to carry alone? Now, take a slow breath. Notice what feels a little lighter, even if nothing around you has changed. Maybe the only thing you set down today was the story that rest makes you weak. Maybe you remember that stillness is movement, just a quieter kind. As you step back into the world, carry this with you. Boundaries aren't walls, they're invitations to meet yourself again, unburdened. Thank you for listening to Pace. I'm so glad you're here. Until next time, move at your own pace. You're already doing more than enough.